Well, we've got a great guest with us today. You know their music well if you listen to Faith FM regularly. We've been playing everything from Busted Heart, The Proof of Your Love, Fix My Eyes, and most recently, Shoulders. We love the ministry of these two brothers, originally from Sydney, Australia. They are Joel and Luke, and they make up the group For King and Country. Joel, great to talk with you this afternoon. Thanks for being with us.
Oh, good afternoon to you, Mr. Brad. Thanks for having us, and thank you for all your generous partnership and support, my friend.
Well, nice to catch up with you once again, and we sure do appreciate and love your ministry. Now, last time we talked with you guys, you were really just starting out here in North America. Your music was relatively new to most of us, and now it's a little different. You've had several very significant hits, and we see your names popping up everywhere. Your sophomore album is entitled Run Wild, Live Free, Love Strong, and it's been met with a huge amount of positive feedback. Now, I know that this project was the culmination of a number of different experiences for you guys over a period of time. So, Joel, what can you tell us about some of the things you went through and how God used your trials in the composition of this album?
Yeah, well, Brad, I tell you, it was a polarizing record to make in some ways, because what kicked it off was I got married right at the beginning of the album process, and literally simultaneous to my marriage, my brother Luke, who makes up the other half of the King Country, fell very ill with a digestive disorder. In fact, he fell ill while I was away on my honeymoon. I got a text message the last day of my honeymoon saying, "Hey, he's not going to be able to come and do any more shows with you for the foreseeable future because he's so unwell and bedridden." So we took really these high highs, this monumental moment of being married, and walking into new love and all the rest of it, and this real kind of on the contrary, my brother, my partner, my best friend Luke being desperately ill to the point of even at points questioning whether he was going to make it through. And so the album was, to be really honest, was a labor of love, but really felt like, in looking back on it, we were given the insight by the grace of God through these trials, if you will, and tribulations, to look at life through a different lens and ask some different questions and, frankly, find some different answers. And so a lot of that's been poured into the album, namely songs like Shoulders, which was written about Luke's illness, just to see how folks have rallied around that song and made it their own anthem in their own trials.
Awesome to hear. And you know what? It's amazing how God does bring wonderful things out of our times of pain and our times of suffering and uncertainty in our life. And thank you for that story. We really appreciate hearing that. Now, a lot of folks will know that you guys were featured as well on the song Messengers with Lecrae. That's become a very popular song, a fantastic tune. Tell us a bit about working with Lecrae on that song.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. You got to thank technology for that one, because Luke and I, years ago, we were in LA and we wrote a song called Messages, which was in essence that chorus, and we kind of shelved it, to be honest. We were in the middle of our first project, so we weren't writing it for any particular purpose. We just wrote it really for the sake of it. And so when Lecrae started working on his new album, his record label, he reached out to us and said, "Hey, do you have any music that would, you want to write something or collaborate?" So we sent them. I sent them a few songs, and one of them was this song Messages. And what was crazy, Brad, was we sent them all the tracks, all the multi-tracks and everything for the song. And then next thing we know, we basically got this mixed, mastered version of the song back with our vocals and Lecrae rapping on it. And we just we wanted to hit a "that was easy" button or something, because it was such a good, charming, simple process. So, and to see, that beauty of collaboration. We truly are better together when we partner, and that's the King and Country motto. Really is collaboration and partnership with other musicians, other bands, with other producers, to come up with something that is creative and inspiring.
That's neat. Now, music, of course, has been an integral part of your life almost since day one. And by the way, we're speaking with Joel from For King and Country today. And Joel, some folks may know your story, but for the benefit of those who don't, tell us about growing up in a musical family and how that propelled you into the career that you guys now enjoy so much today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we often say that music chose us in some ways even more than we chose music. Luke and I are Australians. We grew up in Sydney and then in Brisbane, and our dad was a concert promoter. So for all of you older generation, he would bring over artists like, Amy Grant and Whitehouse, Stryper, and Carmen, the Italian Stallion, et cetera, et cetera. And he would take us to these shows because he would promote them. So some of my first memories were sitting on his shoulders with the palms of my hands, plugging my ears, watching these rock bands, and really fell in love with music from a very young age. And fast forward a few years, Dad was offered a job. He lost a lot of money in Australia on a tour that went bad. He lost about $250,000. He'd been offered a job in America, in Nashville, so he packed 16 suitcases, 6 kids, and his wife, my mom, was 7 months pregnant with 7th child, and we moved halfway around the world to Nashville, Tennessee to get here, and he lost his job. So basically the moment we stepped foot in the country. And so we're on the other side of the world with no furniture, we were renting a house, we had no car, we were sleeping on beds made out of clothes. We would sit in a circle and we would pray for everything and anything. Money to cover our bills, money for my little sister to be born in a hospital because we didn't have any insurance. And Brad just saw God do what we feel were miraculous interventions. Someone anonymously paid for my little sister to be born in a hospital. Someone, the first night they met us, gave us the keys to their brand new minivan. And then through that experience, our older sister started traveling, and she went by the name of Rebecca Jane.
Yeah.
And we were sort of the Australian version of the Von Trapp family in that we joked that Dad needed cheap labor, and he had 5 sons, and so he put us all to work as the road crew, Rebecca. And again, that's where we really saw the impact of music. So when Luke was 19 and I was 21, we sort of branched out from under her wing and began what ultimately became the King and Country.
That's a neat story. I wonder when the movie's going to come out.
Well, we actually are working on a movie, but it's not built around that story.
You are working on a movie right now, you said?
Yeah, we are. I'm actually, it's interesting you say that because we're about 4 days shy of going into production for a film called Priceless that'll be coming to theaters in 2016. But I play an acting role in it. It's a story that we wrote. The brother just above us, Ben, is a filmmaker, and so we've partnered with him, his film company, and for King Country to produce this film called Priceless that is built around the idea of a woman's worth and set in the kind of human trafficking world and real story of redemption and something that's very close to our heart, this whole idea of a woman's worth. That's something that we share at every performance we can. We say, hey, girls, don't ever settle for second best. Don't let any man disrespect your relationships. Know what you're worth. And then challenging us, man, this chivalry is alive and well, and we need to step up and stand out and treat these women as they deserve to be treated.
Yeah, great message. And that sounds like a great movie, too. We can't wait to see that. Priceless. Joel for King of Country is with us today. And Joel, what else have you guys been working on here as we move into the fall of this year? What are you in the studio right now working on another project, or?
Well, we'll say quote unquote in the studio. We actually had a producer fly out to meet us on the road as of last night. And a lot of the new records, Brad, was actually written and even recorded in the back lounge of the tour bus because we've just been traveling so much. And so he flew out to join us on the road, and we're actually working on a deluxe version for Run Wild, Live Free, Love Strong, kind of a year anniversary edition. And we're going to put on some new songs, one of which that we're working on today, onto that album as kind of just a refresher and a bit of a celebration of how well received it's been, and to give people a few other fresh songs kind of in the interim between this album and the next.
Hey, that sounds good too. Well, that's great. Listen, we really have enjoyed our visit with you today. For King and Country, we love your music. We love your ministry here in Canada. We thank you for all your hard work, and it's been really good to catch up with you, Joel. Be sure to say hi to Luke for us, and we really appreciate your time. Thank you for doing this, and I pray God will continue to use you guys and protect you both in the days to come, your families as well. Keep up the wonderful work, and let's do this again sometime, okay?
I'd love to, Brad. And again, pass on these team our gratitude, and to all the listeners out there, thank you for your support and belief. And we'll look forward to meeting our fellow British Commonwealthers soon.
Yeah, awesome. That would be great. Do you have any plans for an Ontario stop on a tour or anything like that in the near future?
I will say there's been a lot of discussions about it. You know, this idea of doing even a tour up in Canada is the hope. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but keep an eye out, because I do think in the next year or so we're going to make it your way.
Yeah, that would be great. I really think your names and your notoriety is continuing to grow around here, and I'm sure you do very, very well. Hey, listen, thank you again today for the time. Really appreciate it, and God bless you.
God bless you too, Brad, and you're first class, man. Thank you for doing the research and for being so well-spoken, and that always doesn't go unnoticed.
Well, I appreciate that. It means a lot. Right back at you.
All right, my friend.
Bye-bye for now.
When confusion's my companion and despair holds me for ransom, I will feel no fear.